is on your doorstep. And I'm going to ask the audience here, just here, don't do it logically, but I'm asking that question. Do you honestly think this year is going to be a bit tougher than others? In other words, really changing? Anybody? Hands up? No? Not so. Okay, right. So anyway, well, we're going to go into this, and I've already put out the predictions. I'm sorry, I'm Darshini in spirit. And I already put out my predictions for 2017, and unfortunately last year quite a bit came true. This year it's already coming true. I put it out in December. And we've already seen, I'm afraid, terrorist action, where I was saying, and shootings, weather, the blizzards, and this is nothing what's coming in February. End of January, February, it's going to be a more brutal winter than we've ever experienced, okay? The polar express and things like that, polar vortex is coming down, and it's going to be quite severe. It is going to affect us. I did say in the lecture I did, I think in San Diego last time, which was about 5 months ago, that we are going to see more rain, not here, that's far down south, sorry, but in Orange County, LA, and up there. But we are going to experience far more, can't call them storms, I'm sorry. About half an inch of rain is a storm in California. And of course the world is probably laughing at us, but quite frankly in California it's huge. So anyway, we'll go back to the 2017 predictions. I've got a lot of signs which are tied and in the books that I eventually will get out, I'm sorry. But who here, I want to ask, has been experiencing some of these signs at least, that they have experienced at least in the last 2 or 3 years, they believe the worst times in their lives. And they think it's really tragic and really bad, but quite frankly, it's not the worst, but it has been pretty, not even trying, twisted and contorted. Anybody having a really bad time? I know you don't need to, don't worry. I always say, those who don't want to be caught by the FBI or something, sit behind the camera, so not in front. But it's okay, I can see who you are. But anyway, it's been kind of torturous. Things that they're experiencing is health problems that they've never had before or experienced before, or even relatives. And this is one thing that came to me, and this is all in the book. There we go about nearly 300 signs, but 250 aren't identified. And one is as if you've lost hope. And it's as if the death of hope in your life, that you don't feel as joyful or effusive about life in your future. Anybody here? You don't need to, you can just like you don't, I know, I understand. And it's as if you're really losing faith in humanity. And it's not about yourself, it's really about what you're seeing around. Now, on the 2017 predictions, it's already gone, I think, about 4,000 or 5,000 or 6, I can't remember. It was uploaded about 2 weeks ago. And it's an hour long, and I'm not going to get into some of that because you can review it. But basically, I did say, and I'm warning you, the president-elect is coming in. Obviously, I had said this last year, by the way, that it's going to be chaotic. And I know the markets, you say, oh, it's really great, and people are actually believing that. And I know a lot of stockbrokers, and I know a lot of business people I consult to all over the world, and they know it's a false high. So watch it. The ceiling is a false high. It's manipulated, and everybody using everybody in a situation that they know is going to be very profitable in their back pocket. Okay, so don't please believe the media or what the manipulation's doing. What I give is not for scare tactics, it's literally for you to make sense of it in your world, not to start getting into fear. Fear is only, fear actually only gets worse if you start obsessing about it. I teach actually 98 classes, and one is called Face Your Fears. It's the most brutal class to take. Quite a few clients have attested to that, I'm afraid, but it just shows. And one thing about fear, it more or less goes hand in hand with control. So the more you control something, you have less control over. I hope you all realize that. And that is a biggie. That's part of my anatomy of fear, is part of that equation. So try not to control. There are a few controllers. I'm not going to name you here. I'm not going to get you. But it really backfires on you. So we are seeing a lot of, I'm afraid, suicides. Even yesterday I sadly saw one, a 10-year-old, are you okay? 10-year-old little boy who was so afraid and having arguments with his mother, he just picked up a gun and killed himself. So I'm saying that...
When was that?
Yesterday.
Where?
Florida. And this is nothing to what, I'm not only talking about America, I'm talking about the rest of the world, where media and this globalization of communication has actually shrunk the world a bit too much. That, remember, you're dealing with children here who haven't, no offense to the men here, okay, but you don't mature until about 32, 28 to 32, and women a bit later, about 26, 27. But this, I think, has changed to even women are maturing later, because this does not advocate you knowing about communication and, you know, you're getting lost. You're actually closing down your communication skills and only communicating with one portion of your brain. And you're not really propagating and enhancing the areas of your brain you should be. Okay, so you're going to see a lot more child suicides, and not only that, it'll be frustration again that they're going to take other children down, which I, unfortunately, on 12/12/12, I did a prediction just before a radio show, and I said there's going to be a mass shooting in a children's school, and while I was on the radio, of course, that horrible incident happened in Maryland, which was right next door to very near the studios I was doing a radio show. So I'm just warning you that that is part of this whole kind of intermix of all the signs that are going on. We're going through a massive shift of energy. And I'm not talking 2012, please, that's kind of old and hackneyed. Nothing was going to happen. But we are in a slow transition of change. These are some of the signs. I'm going to ask you, the audience, who's been clearing their closets out in the last 2 years? I mean, really, kind of in a maniacal way. You're terrible. You really tore it out, right? It's as if you're being really intensely, you know. And then you're looking at stuff that you're buying. Do I really need this? And what's going to happen to it when I die? You know, who's going to have to dispose of it? I mean, that far in intense that you're clearing out stuff, that you're really analyzing your life. Now, this is a huge sign. And I'm not talking about, you know, you're doing the thinker and, oh, I'm really rethinking my whole life and who's in my life. Relationships, by the way, are changing. We've got about a 10-15% that are staying together. Then the others are transitioning massively. And you're wondering and you're looking at the boyfriend thinking, okay, why am I even with him, let alone talking to him? That's so, sorry. I've had a lot of clients and they're really reevaluating your life. This is a biggie, and I would bring it up in every lecture. And those who have been here in my lectures know it. But who here has realized that and it could be a span of as little as 2 days, 3 weeks, 1 month, or even 5 weeks, that they're not the same person they were? When they look around, they review it. You are changing in such a massive proportion that you don't even know it. Foods that you like ice cream, suddenly you're like, I don't like that. And you're not pregnant, by the way. Men, don't worry about it. But really, seriously, you're changing your taste buds. You're changing on a cellular level. Now, how I read, I'm a claircognitive to those who don't know. And that is, does anybody know what a claircognitive is? I know a few people do. Okay, so I may explain. A medium speaks to people communicates with people who are on the other side. I hate the word psychic, sorry. It's a catch-all, very hackneyed. And a clairvoyant receives pictures, messages through pictures. Clear audio hears it, clear sentient feels it. And all of that, plus a channel and everything else, which I don't really use because I do it in a different way, I'll tell you in a second. But I also use it get it in smell and taste. That's the only time that I stop talking this fast, because I have to take what the energy is, which is I read through energy, pure energy. Now remember, we're all packets of energy, right? We're not, all because we got packeted like this, we're all pure energy. And that's how I read. I don't go through angels, guides, or whatever. I literally go out in dimensions. Now, who believes there's only 3 dimensions? Good, thank you. Well, this is a different format, but no, there are not. And how I read it is I go through dimensions. That's why I always go back. I don't care who you are. If you're new to me, I go backwards, then I come forwards. Because you don't know who's really giving you information, and it could be catastrophic. And that's one of my beefs, is that you could, people change their lives because, oh, she said that. No. And it is your life, not mine. You make the decisions, not us. Okay? I'm brutally honest. I will take a face off. I have taken, and he was okay with it. But in other words, if you're needed that, obviously not. I don't see anybody here needing that. But it's really about I don't mess around, and that's, I guess, my English upbringing. But in that way, that's why I do common readings. But I also see the future that way as well. All right. So just for this year, regarding, we'll call it just President-elect. And hi FBI if you're watching, because I'm sure they are, they will watch me. Because the terrorist action, I have said, is going to increase. It has already. Turkey, and I've got quite a few other countries on the 2017 video. I'll have in my, at my booth a separate sign-in sheet if you want to receive the 27 predictions. It's on YouTube anyway. And it's really, we will see more terrorist action, but do not be confused with what I said just initially about children and suicide, that there are different factions coming in, that with suicide, but it's also connected with terrorism. There's other avenues. So we're seeing lots of shootings like yesterday, I'm afraid. We're seeing shootings, where it's senseless. And who here has noticed, and this is scary, that people around you, friends and family, I hate to say it as well, colleagues, who are doing stupid things. I mean, really, saying stupid things even. You're wondering, this I thought was a level-headed person. You've got 2 around you that you really thought were really, they got it. But it's as if, what is going on with them? Does that make sense to you? Mm-hmm. And it's, and you're very practical. You're down to earth. You don't mess around. You always tell you're very down to earth. You don't mess around. Even though he's like a big teddy bear, because he's a softie. You're the disciplinarian, right? It's really that you really know that people around you, you protect. But unfortunately, you'll see that there are more stupid people where, what were you even thinking? But they're actually verbalizing this. I mean, I'm not talking about the elections. I don't get political here. I'm not here to judge on anybody. But to say that what is coming on, and I put this on a big subtext title in the predictions, that on May 15th, thereabout, it'll start on the 13th, okay, but May 15th, something's going to happen to the president, I'm afraid, that I see, okay? And it's really, I'm not going to tell you what, but on May 15th, I do see something. I'm really hoping I'm wrong, but there's going to be a change of situations, put it that way. And you'll see that there's going to be a lot of fear-mongering, that people really haven't connected what this whole situation is. I will say that Putin is just happy as it can be. I will say that, unfortunately. And the stock market, the real stock market, I'm talking about the hedge funds and the managers who really manage the everyday Joe. They're the ones who are in real, not peril, but they are panicking because they don't know what the market's going to bring. Remember, America and every single country, and I wouldn't say without exception, there are smaller countries, depend on their economy. Economy is codependent upon what is around and how they interact internationally. Am I correct? And what are we doing? We're isolating ourselves. And that is going to have a horrific effect. Now, it may not, remember, there's one thing, or chapter in my book called The Pendulum Effect, and we are going into the extreme. I thought it was 2 years ago, but this is nothing to what it's going to be. And you're going to see something. Now, they all call me kind of Debbie Downer here, sorry if your name's Debbie, but basically, Do not, why I give you this information is, do not worry about the whole picture. You absorb it, you understand it, but you do not embrace it. What I want all of you and out there to do is to start concentrating, do I have, what kind of job, am I happy in my job? If I'm not, you start evaluating. A lot of people are changing their jobs, by the way. I mean, really diverse. You're even thinking of 2 other things that you never even thought of. 2 years ago, you would never even have had an inkling of doing, right? And by the way, you always tell my husband now, but when he was my boyfriend, you can't lie to me. And he used to get really nervous. I don't know why, but anyway. But basically, you really have rethought your business. In the last 6 months, you've changed drastically. And you weren't exactly tolerant before, but boy, you're less tolerant now, right? Of certain people and things, right? It's as if time is really an issue. People are embracing time more, that they realize time now. Last year went so quickly, right? Quicker than any others. And please don't tell me because you're getting older. It's nothing about that. But last year, for a lot of people, they had horrific situations happening in their lives, right? And it's not exactly catastrophic, but most of it was. A lot of reevaluation where you, even though you're nice and calm, it was bad. February was really horrible last year. Is that true? February through May was a pocket.
I just ended a really
horrible
karmic relationship, 3-year relationship that just was.
It's like plaster. And
yeah, I was the calm one, but yes,
yeah, but no,
I held it inside. Yes.
Yeah. So you're going to see relationships change. You're going to see so many facets about yourself changing, and that's why. So you can't really blame the other person because remember, you have to look inside and take the blame. I'm not saying, oh, that happened, she said that, but it's not them, it's also you. You are part of that equation, okay? But we are going to see by June, July, and again, I am seeing the markets go really, with all my investors, I have this huge, not argument, but most of them agree, that I told them last year that June, well, I'm going to backtrack a minute. A year and a half ago, I put out predictions and I said, at the end of June, July, there's going to be kind of a downfall of Europe. I didn't know what was going on. All I know is Europe was going to fall and it was going to hit hard. And I didn't know it, but it was Brexit, and it really shattered the economy. Now there is another 2, and a third one by the end of the year, thinking about it, or talking about it, but 2 countries will exit this year as well from the EEC, which the European economy. I never agreed with it before I left. They were voting on it, and I knew it was a bad idea. But anyway, that's my personal, sorry, I should have put that in. But basically, you have to know that the market is going to start being very, not exactly competitive, but it's going to be very aggressive for the first 3 to 4 months of his administration. But then, and I said this before, that gold will fall near 700. And a top economist in Harvard actually said that a few months later. So if you're looking at metals and gold and silver, that is something that you really want to wait on if you're going to. Don't hoard it. It's nothing to do with, oh, the world's going to end. It isn't. Okay? That's ridiculous. So what are any questions quickly? Because I know I talk a lot, sorry.
Is it a good time to buy a house next year?
Actually, last year I said sell quickly, all right, before November. And, yeah.
They're up too high now.
Well, wait.
It's going to get worse. Yeah.
No, it's not going to, give it time. Now, it's in the next 6 to 8 months, it will be a good time to start looking and buying. But next year will be a great year, and you'll see it, to buy. Because, I used to be a realtor too, but you need to look at, obviously sell high, buy low.
So is this year a good year to sell?
Last year was.
So
If you're going to sell it, you should see a June, July, because remember, it takes, remember how many people really have $500,000, and I'm talking about, it's practically that size, $500,000 up here. And you're looking at a very, mortgage rates are, even though they dipped, They will go down because there's going to be a balance. So you're going to see that the mortgage rate will go down a bit, but you're not going to be seeing those people with money wanting to invest in a home. So try and sell as soon as possible.
Okay.
By June, July, but it will take about a month to 2 months to find the right buyers. Depends on the price of the home.
Okay, so this year is better to sell
Excuse me, yes.
than next year, and next year is better to buy.
Correct.
Okay.
But it's really last year was the best.
The
Yeah.
highest.
The
Yeah,
highest.
last year's already.
That was the peak. Now it's going down.
Right. So
Otherwise, don't sell them for another 5-6 years. Just 7. Because it won't peak until then.
So the home prices are going down next
Yeah.
year?
No, this year. It started in November.
Okay, okay.
It's
You're
already-
still okay to sell now. I mean, you missed the peak, but it's still okay to sell
Yeah.
now, but then next year might
Next
be.
year is a really good time to buy.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And then hold on to the other
Correct.
property for 5 to 6 to
Correct.
7 years.
But you've got some work to do in the house.
In what sense?
There are, look at the backyard, the back of the house on the left is kind of an oblong, right?
Back of the house on the left is all one.
I mean, the whole house is oblong, right? It's not square.
No, it's square. The house is square.
What's on the side? There's something on the side. Is it garage or something? It looks oblong.
The yard is oblong. Like it goes.
Oh, that's probably why, the whole property. But
Right.
back left, check it. That's all I say, back left, okay? Okay, so we'll get back into here. Other signs, are you seeing that your anger is going from 0 to 2,000 in a few seconds, and usually you're just mellow, but suddenly your anger level is just off the roof, and you can't hold on to it. You're seeing other people who are getting angry, and you don't know, you're actually, just to shut them up, you're actually agreeing with them, and they're still going on. That's what happens to me all the time. But they're just going on. It's just nuts. During the middle of the day, you're so sleepy, you want to crawl underneath your desk and go to sleep in the middle of the day. These are all changes in your body and your system, okay? Are you thinking of doing something like a different business? But you've been thinking since really a year and a half ago. But it's as if it started gearing up in February, but it went down again in May. You put it aside because things going on. But again, in November it started up, and try it in May again, at the end of May. Review it, because I know you're thinking now, but remember, timing is going to be so hypersensitive these days, especially with the with issues. Do not, really look at it, especially that a lot of more people are going into being entrepreneurs and being self-sufficient, but try to do one of these. Stay in an established business that you're getting current pay, and then transition. Don't do everything at once. Don't cut cold. Ideally I survived. I don't know how in heaven's name. I guess they pushed me into this anyway. But basically, it is something that, I've owned 27 businesses. All kinds of weird ones, but that's what they do, is school you into where your vocation's going to be. And a lot of you are finding things that you're being geared to that you never thought you could do even, but you're really opening your life to. And you really are reevaluating everything. You yourself, 20 years ago, you were really kind of a totally different person than you are now. Even about 3 months ago, you changed drastically again. You turned the tiller and you were off into the wind, right? So everything is what we're looking at. But 2017, I'm afraid, is going to be, again, I will reiterate that you have to concentrate not on the tree, in the way a lot of the people who come and see me for readings are usually looking at the tree instead of the forest. Most of them are kissing the bark or eating the bark. They're that close to the tree. So I'm just saying, back off and then really see what's around you and reevaluate. Don't get obsessive. You're a bit obsessive, I'm sorry.
No, I agree.
Okay. You're a controller, I can go on, but I won't. But that's when you start misdirecting and over-processing things. And if you just let things go and reevaluate, put it down on paper, you'll see it in black and white. Okay, I don't know if I've got I'm good on time. Sorry, I don't like being late.
26.
Oh, 26. Oh, okay. Again, a lot of people going into depressions, they've evacuated people in their life. I'm talking about kicking them out too. And they're usually family and friends, I hate to say it. They're realizing people who use you, use you rather. They are wanting to distance themselves, become very, in a way, of a hermit. And they're happy that way. Who here is wanting more simplification in their life? That they want a simpler, non-complicated life, even in their surroundings. That they're going down to just a table and shit, not that bad. But basically, really wanting the busyness to be out of their life. And they're really appreciating who is around them. Really finding out who you are. Rediscovering, that's the relationship dynamics. They're rediscovering who their partner is and is at the moment. Remember, nobody stays stagnant unless you're dead. Well, not even then, to be honest, because they change on the other side. So basically, I'm going to do one more thing and then I'll get out. Okay, who's right? Right hand or left hand? Okay? Okay, Elder, for the people on the right, go right, because I'm going to be. People on the left, go left. I forgot to show you this. Okay, ready?
Right or left or what?
No, who's right? When you're right-handed, you do go move right.
To the right.
If you're left, you're overthinking, stop it. Left-handed, go left. Okay, so I'm right-handed. What you're going to do is look at your finger, move right. All right? I'm just going to go as far, don't move your body, but go around as much as you can, mark how far you can go, come back to center and drop your arms. Okay? Okay, close your eyes. Now visualize yourself going and doing a 360. Do not visualize any pain. And go all the way back and open your eyes. Okay? Okay, now don't do it physically, just in your mind. Go all the way around and then all the way back. Open your eyes. Okay? Now, do it again and see where you land. Open your eyes and do it physically, do it. Who went further? You should all have gone further. You tend to over-process too. Yeah, you overthink. And you protect everybody around you too ferociously, I'm afraid.
Yes.
And it's a detriment, and this is their warning. Your great-grandmother who's around you, there's another thing called a candle lesson. Stop doing that. And in the last 3 months, you realized how much you are an asset, that you haven't believed it yourself. They believe it,